Hi, I'm Scott.
And I'm Oscar. And this is Nick from
Nick.
Brixton Gin. And we are the Ginfluencers UK with a guest.
So today we're going to be tasting a martini.
Well, Nick is going to make it for us,
Yeah.
as he's an award-winning bartender. You were a bartender. Now he's mixologist, whatever you want to call it. And he's going to make a martini today with a Brixton Gin. However, I have laid awake at night wondering what's the difference between shaken and stirred. I cannot sleep wondering what the answer is. And today, Nick is going to make us one of each, and we're going to go blindfolded, taste test, to see what the difference is taste-wise. I know that sounds really weird, but apparently there is a huge difference in taste.
Well, we'll see. Nick, can you tell me what this is you're mixing it with?
So, Cocchi Americano is a very interesting ingredient. Vermouth, as many people know, sometimes as martini, because it's such an overwhelming brand. So, vermouth is made with wormwood, which is the same ingredient as absinthe.
Oh, yes.
So,
we know that.
We know that.
We know that.
So there you go. So for a brief period in the history of the United States, wormwood was actually illegal to be imported in drinks.
Okay.
So at a certain point, the Italians, who made a lot of vermouth, created a specific aperitif or fortified wine that was bitter in the same way that vermouth is, partially, but had no wormwood in it, and they called it Americano.
Right, okay.
Wow.
So, Cocchi Americano is a vermouth-style liquid, but with no wormwood.
Ah,
There you go. That's interesting.
there we go. I learned something new. There you go. Every day's a school day.
Yeah.
I'd say that.
I've said it now.
But I will say Cocchi Americano is a beautiful liquid. It's white, so it's a sort of white vermouth style drink. It's still sweet, but yeah, that's it.
And that's how you prefer to make your martinis?
Yes. So often normally you'd make a martini with a dry vermouth. However, I prefer my martinis wet and slightly sweeter. So wet refers to the amount of vermouth in it.
Yep.
The more vermouth, the wetter it is. And I like the increased bitterness that you often get from the Cocchi Americano.
Okay.
So
Right. Well, I can't wait to try it. Let's get to it. So what are you going to do now?
let's go. Right. So we're gonna do two separate martinis,
Right,
of course.
yeah.
So for each one, we're going to add 50 milliliters of gin. Obviously, premium gin, locally grown.
Indeed. And if you
Sourced.
haven't watched the video, Brixton Gin review, it will be up here
45%.
somewhere.
Nice, floral.
It'll hit you for 6, I'll tell you that.
It's not my first rodeo.
So, depending on what recipe you use, there are some famous quotes of people talking about vermouth in a martini, and they'll say, just wave the bottle of gin in the direction of Italy.
Or the shadow passing it, I've heard. That's
Right,
another
exactly.
one. Yeah.
The shadow passing it. I think in this instance, because it's going to be quite a different vermouth, quite a different martini, we're going to do 10 mils of Cocchi Americano. This is definitely a kind of redesigned martini. So
Okay.
if you want to do a classic martini, you would use maybe a bar spoon of a kind of dry vermouth.
But this is a wet martini. It's a modern take on a martini.
Exactly. And we're going to do 10 milliliters of Cocchi Americano. Oh. It's just pouring without a speed pour is always harder. Here we go. So, now we need some ice. And we're going to ice the...
The traditional way for a martini, not a Vespa, but a regular martini, is to be stirred.
Yes.
And you recommend a Vespa being shaken.
Yes, so it all comes down to the kind of historical context almost. A martini, when you use high quality alcohol, has some really wonderful flavor profiles. You've got the flavor, which is essentially essential oils in there. And what you're trying to do traditionally is create a kind of almost silky mouthfeel. And you're diluting it so that you don't get that proper kick at the back of your throat, but still retaining the smoothness. Whereas if you shake it, which according to Ian Fleming's novel you should, you get a slightly more aerated and not a rougher texture, but a more open texture.
Okay.
I'm just going to add a little bit more ice. So there is also debate on how much ice you should add to, you know, whatever you're stirring. Sometimes you'll see a bartender kind of fill it right up to the top. Then you'll have some, because you want proper chilling. Some people will then say, well, actually any ice above this point won't add any, all it's doing is cooling the air above it. It's not actually going to add anything to here. The point is, you don't want to add too little ice because that's going to just over dilute it. It's going to melt faster and it's going to over dilute your cocktail. Now, I've been stirring this while I haven't been shaking this. This is because shaking is a much more violent way of diluting and chilling a cocktail. So now instead, so you know, you need to
enjoy the moment.
There we go. Right.
You're such an idiot.
Yeah, I know.
Right, should we turn away now for why you put it into the glasses? I think
Right.
we'll turn away.
We're looking away.
We're honestly looking. We'll even cover our eyes.
I was covering my eyes before you. Because I really want to know if there is a genuine taste difference.
I'm quite, you know what, I have actually never properly done it this, not this precisely, you know, so I'm quite excited to find out what you guys think.
Just talk amongst yourselves, people.
So I mean, you'll see straight away, people on camera, I think it's visible on camera, how much of a difference there is in look. Like one is completely clear and one is almost white.
Okay, that's interesting.
So I'm just gonna give both of them a quick.
Should we, when we turn around, should we still keep our eyes closed?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Keep your eyes closed, turn around.
This is going to be disastrous.
Can we turn around now?
Right,
Yes.
Turning around.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay. All right. I'm going to give each of you one of them, and then I'm going to switch, and you're going to tell me whether you thought.
This is so weird.
One second. You have a taste now.
Ooh.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. All right. Now try the second one. And Scott, here you go.
Okay. Oh, that's lovely.
All right. Hang on. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. There we go. Here's the second one. So you both received both of them in the same order.
Okay.
Right. There is a taste difference. There is a taste difference.
I opened my eyes. I've done mine already.
There is
Yeah.
a taste difference.
So before you say anything about the taste and everything,
I'll put up the one I preferred.
Which
raw.
one do you think was shaken and which one do you think was stirred? And like one or two, both of you. You can open your eyes.
I'm going to say
It's fine.
number one was shaken,
Yeah.
number two was stirred. Is how I'm going to say.
That's what I think as well.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
Do you know what the weird the weird thing
That's
is?
how you do a blind taste test.
It is.
Wow.
It is smoother.
It is very
Stirring it.
smooth.
It's I thought it was rubbish. I thought the whole shaken and stirred thing was literally rubbish.
It's so much silkier. It's so much silkier, isn't it? It's
That's
completely...
a lot. That's a lot more harsh. And I watched you pour in the measures, so I saw the measures completely the same. It's dramatically different.
It is unbelievable. I'm so. Firstly, I'm glad we actually did work out which one was shaken and which one was stirred. The difference is dramatic.
But the shaken one wasn't bad. It was a lovely flavour.
No, not at all.
But there's just a little bit more of a smoothness to the stirred one.
Yeah.
So it does make a difference.
It does. It was very different. The taste is still there, but it's when it goes down your throat.
Yeah.
You're feeling it.
And I think it's the initial taste. As it sits a little bit longer, it kind of mellows out.
Well, there's it's not necessarily less diluted, but it's just more compact somehow, you know, and it allows the essential oils to coat your tongue better and to give you that kind of.
It's got good legs on it as well. It's really grabbing.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's been really eye-opening.
I am so glad we got that right.
And another fantastic cocktail using Brixton Gin.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, actually, we didn't even talk about the taste. Taste is brilliant.
Yeah.
The taste, did we even need to go any further? It's brilliant. This is lovely.
I actually think the violet is really dulled down in this as a martini. You don't really get the violet.
I'm really impressed with this stuff as well.
So, well, first of all, this is delicious. Second of all, I think a mark of quality in this is that you chill it down, you mix it with something that brings out the herbal element.
I actually want to try a little bit on its own. I know this is sacrilege.
At least he's not drinking it out of the bottle. There we go.
Just turns into an all-out party. Yeah. It shows you the versatility of it, right? Because you might try that neat or in a gin and tonic and think, oh, that's not going to go in a martini. But then you try it in a martini and it is actually quite nice.
That's lovely.
Well, that is beautiful.
That's really nice.
That's really
that is
good.
really nice.
And how do you pronounce it?
Cocchi Americano.
I'm glad you said that and not me. But yeah, that's really, really good. Well done, Brixton, because it's another great take on a different drink. The great thing about this is it's not one-dimensional. So I like the fact that the violet has kind of been dulled down, and you're getting other flavours through this, working alongside this. Yeah, and like you say, like chilling it down, kind of just puts a different flavour
and also
on it.
like preparing it differently.
Yeah.
Like the difference. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, so we hope that you found that informative. The difference between shaken and stirred. He definitely has shaken and stirred.
I'll be able to sleep now
Actually,
at night.
do you know what? You guys do at home. See what you prefer. Do you shake it? Do you stir it? Do you what's the other one?
Throw it.
Throw it.
Do you throw it? Yeah.
Yep, throw it. We learned that today as well.
Or do you just go like mouthful of that,
shake it around.
shake it around, and then gulp? Yeah, but let us know. Yeah,
yeah.
That's what we'll do next, I think. Yeah. But yeah, that's it's been great. Nick, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's
Nick,
been amazing.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, we thank Nick for coming over. We'll see you next video. Cheers.
Cheers.